What's up, everybody? Welcome to another episode of the College Prep Chat. On today's conversation, we've got Dan Hislop from Colorado State University, where he works with the football team. And our goal here is to decipher what a college athlete or what a potential college athlete needs to do in order to hit the ground running on day one at the college level. So our goal is to bring on collegiate level strength and conditioning coaches to provide you with firsthand information about what you need to do to be as ready as possible. So without further ado, Dan, welcome. Thank you for joining us.
And, of course, my pleasure.
Yes, sir. Well, give us a little rundown on your background, how you got there, and what you do now.
Yeah, of course. So, guys, again, I'm our associate strength and conditioning coach here at Colorado State, working with football. Again, I'm Dan Hislop. So I'm from right outside of Philadelphia, a town called Levittown, Pennsylvania. I'm actually Levittown and Salem. I got families in both areas. Grew up there my whole life. Fast forward many years, I graduated from East Stroudsburg University. Okay, that's a D2 school, all right, in Pennsylvania, up by the Delaware Water Gap. There at my time, I did multiple internships, one at Lehigh University, one at Villanova University, okay, and then obviously one at East Stroudsburg, one at Moravian College. And then I graduated December, 2016, and then my now wife, but girlfriend at the time, I said, hey, how would you feel about losing money every month as I do an unpaid internship at South Carolina and, working with the Gamecocks and their football team. And she said, yeah, I'm in. So we drove down there about 2-3 months into the internship. I got a call, Brian Phillips, who was the director of strength and conditioning at Elon University. Okay, so I was there about a year and 3 months, year and a half. Then from there, I went to University of Nevada in Reno. And there I worked with Jordan Simmons and his staff for over 2 years, like 2 years, 3 months roughly. And then from there, back across the country to James Madison University, also known as JMU. I worked with Derek Owings and his staff. And that was a great time. I had multiple teams, worked with football, learned a lot, especially organizational skills. And I really grown as a coach and a person there. So my time was cut short because this staff here now that I worked with at Nevada, they got hired. They got hired in the end of December, early January. And that's when Coach Simmons, right, Jordan Simmons, my boss, he hired me here. And fast forward 7 months, now we're here in July, and now I'm here. So, it's been an awesome, 7-8 years in this already, which is crazy to think about. But I definitely love what I do, and I'm just happy to be here on this talk too today.
Awesome, man. Yeah, it sounds like a wealth of experience. And one thing I know from early on in my career was getting experience from a wide range of people. Kind of gives you a real wide lens and allows you to kind of focus in and take what you need from places just to make you a better coach. So the journey of a strength coach, man, it is, you got to burn the gas. That's for sure.
Heck yeah.
All right, brother. Well, let's jump into it. We're going to go through about 5 questions and 100% kind of focused around high school athletes and what they need to do to be ready to work with a guy like you. All right. So let's say you've got a new kid into your program and he's been there all week. You guys are sitting around as a staff on a Friday. What do you want to be able to say about that kid as you guys discuss as a staff?
That's a good question. Well, I think the first one that comes to mind is being coachable, right? We want our guys to be coachable, adaptable, always on time. And really the biggest one is have a sense of urgency. With everything that you do, you have to want to be here. Like actually today we had a talk with our guys, our new guys, the freshmen and transfers have been here 3 weeks, start of week 3 today. And, I was like, look, we have so much to do, right? Outside stuff, inside in the weight room in 2 hours. So like I preach more work in less time. So you have to have a sense of urgency. And I know damn well, once we get to fall ball, our coaches, they're going to want you to get to point A to point B as fast as possible. So like we preach sense of urgency all the time. I think it matters. And then really to piggyback off that is respectful. Okay. Like basic manners, like eye contact. If I'm speaking to you face to face and you don't have eye contact, to me, it just shows you don't care. So if guys are looking around, looking at their shoes, watching the butterflies over here, right? I'm just like, guys, eyes on me. Because to me, it's just body language. And I know 100% when Coach Jay Norvell speaks, everyone's here, sit up straight, hands on lap, eye contact. That just shows you care. So, I just think that just speaks volumes about the person, about who you are as a character.
Absolutely, man. Things I wrote down, man, coachability. That's one thing we always talk with our kids about is you can't just flip that switch and be coachable, right? That's something that you are dedicated to being coachable or you're not, right? It's something that you have to develop. And then when you talked about, kind of that respect, having respect, you don't get a second chance to make a first impression. And I think that's such an important thing. And one thing we talk to our kids about is when you show up on the college campus, right? That is your first impression, not just on the strength staff that you're working with, but on your teammates as well. And you better believe that the teammates, the strength coach might not catch you skipping a rep or cutting a corner here and there, but your teammates are. And it's a different deal when your teammates understand what you're all about. So I love that answer, man. To dive into the second one, right? From a physical standpoint, right? Not just a behavioral standpoint, from a physical and a preparedness standpoint, what are the abilities that you value with a new athlete coming into your program?
Okay. We'll start with the weight room perspective. So when they come in here, like I said, we just finished up 2 full weeks of our foundation card, we'll call it, right? Our intro period. We're doing everything from Oli school, which is learning how to clean. We're big on cleans here. We clean 3 days a week, manipulate the volume intensities depending on the time of year. But so cleans, squat, hinge, pull, push patterns, right? Real basic. And to dive in a little more, right? Front squat, a chin up, an RDL, a push up, and of course a power clean, like I already said. I think if you can get really good at those, really a chin up in particular and front squat, then I think you're going to set yourself up to be successful, at least in our program. Because I just think if you can really get good at those, then we can progress and do more things, right? Chains, etc. We go to yoke bar, split squat, yoke bar. You can just progress in your 4 to 5 years here, but you have to get good at these basic movements first.
Yep. So just showing up and being very good, and from a movement quality standpoint.
100%.
Technical proficiency of lifting, that type of stuff.
Yeah, they'll hear me say it all the time is be a technician, attack everything with 100% effort, right? Be diligent with everything you do. And I was actually going off track a little bit, but I was talking to one of our guys that are currently in the NFL right now today. And he said, Coach, something about the little things, you're 100% right. And what you guys preach is 100% right. Cause I'm in a locker room with 38-year-old grown men with a wife, kids, this is their job, right? This is what they do. So he's like, it's pretty obvious the guys that have a dirty locker, right? Or don't do things or show up just on time, right? Those things, every day is an interview. So if you mess up on those little things too, then everyone sees it and it's obvious. So it was just really cool to hear that from a guy who's in NFL right now doing it, making a lot of money, to hear that the things we're doing here really help moving forward.
100%, whatever level it is, right? Those small behaviors are what's going to allow you to be successful.
Yeah, no question.
Love that, man. All right. Looking more at the nutrition side of things, what are some actionable tips that you give athletes, or that you can provide athletes who might be watching this, if they're looking to improve their performance through nutrition?
Gotcha. Yeah, that's one that actually comes up a lot. And it helps here. We actually just hired a registered dietitian, which is going to help us do a lot more and push a lot more information out. But what we do, we give them a hydration sheet that looks like this. Okay. And basically it just talks about how much, water you should have per pound of body weight. But I even take it a little more simplified. Be that guy that has a gallon jug, right? I don't care if, you get made fun of, whatever. Look, I'm that guy with a half gallon. I fill this up twice a day. I get my gallon of water in. That stuff matters. We're throwing a lot at these guys. from practice to running to lifting. Okay. Like they're just doing so much to going to class, being on their feet all day. They need, there you go, stay hydrated. But they have to they have to stay hydrated. And the urine chart we have here, it's pretty simple. Clear, pale yellow, bright yellow. Obviously, if you're in that tea color, that's severe dehydration. Like that's clearly a no-go. But it gets them thinking, right? So we just try to be very basic. Again, give them the basics, be really good at the fundamentals, and then it's going to help them. So we give them that. I want to take it one step further and sleep. Sleep's very important.
Yeah, 100%.
I preach 7 to 9 hours. If you could get 9, like, you're doing a lot of things right. I understand they have class, they got to study, they got to learn the playbook, all that. So I just say, hey, if you can get 7 to 8, if you can get 7, awesome. You can get 8, you're doing great. But 7 to 8, I think, is a good rule of thumb for these guys. And I always relate them to LeBron James, right? The study they did on him, the sleep study. He sleeps on average 10 hours a night. And he's a professional athlete. Granted, that's all he has to work on is just sleep and being really good at his craft now. But we preach mimic success, right? So if the best in the world are getting 10, then, hey, let's try to get close to that. I'm not saying get 10, but let's get close. If you're a guy that's getting 4 to 5 hours, that might work for a little bit, but I promise you it's going to catch up with you. I promise. So
absolutely. One thing we talk to the guys about when it comes to sleep is the quality of sleep and like setting yourself up for a successful night. Like our guys, I'll ask them, what do you do before bed? And they're flipping through the phone, they're on Snapchat and all that stuff. Like, figure out how to leave your phone in another room. Number one, so you don't fall asleep to it. But number two, so you don't wake up. And the first thing you do is you reach over to it and you check your messages. So sleep's something that I didn't have in here, but I think it's definitely a key. It's like sleep is the ultimate performance enhancer, right? It's like HGH, right? You allow yourself to recharge. It's phenomenal.
Yep. And then to answer your full question with nutrition, really the most basic one I can say is eat breakfast. Try to get in the habit of fueling your body, before training. A lot of teams do early sessions, and we do too. We're 6, 8, and 10. So I know it's tough if you're in that 6 a.m. group. You might be waking up at 4:30, 5 o'clock, right? But like, try to eat something. I mean, if you can't stomach it, the more you practice it, the more you can hold down more food. Maybe a bar, a shake, something, a banana, some kind of fruit, some combination of carbs, maybe a little bit of protein. I'm not saying you have to eat a steak, a whole steak in the morning, just something light for your stomach to give you energy. And guys have said that they feel better doing that too.
Absolutely. One thing I stole from Dr. Josh Haneen, who he works with a lot of baseball players, but his coaching cue is you got to get 1,000 calories before 9 a.m. Right? If you get 1,000 calories before 9 a.m., the rest of the day you should be coasting. That's a real game changer. If you're looking at, number one, how many calories you're putting out, you're going through a program like what you have, like you've got to replace that, especially if you've got some body composition goals, some weight goals that you want to hit. Like the nutrition is something that cannot be overlooked.
Yeah. And last thing I'll say on it is, I always say 3 to 5 meals per day. And whenever you're snacking, you want it to be high calorie foods like nuts, like almond, cashew, peanut butter, high calorie snacks. So when you're in class or you're driving home, wherever it is, just have high calorie snacks. That's going to help you sneak in your calories for the day. And then if you say you weigh 200 pounds, okay, then the goal is you want that weight in grams. So if you're 200-pound male, then you want to aim for 200 grams of protein every single day. And we'll show them apps to help them count, like MyFitnessPal. I found like very, very good success with. So we'll just show them. It's very easy to show them, and then they start liking it. They start tracking everything they're doing, and then they see how close or really how far away they are to meeting their nutrition needs, right? Their macros or calories for the day. So that's been a really powerful tool.
Yeah. MyFitnessPal is great because you can flip over and see the pie chart of what your protein, carbs, and fat looks like throughout the day. That's usually our starting point with all of our athletes. We have them track 3 days, 2 weekdays and 1 weekend day. And then once we see what they're doing, then we can kind of, okay. And most kids are lacking protein, right? They're usually pretty good from the carbohydrate standpoint, but they're usually lacking in protein. And that can be a real game changer if you get them eating the right amount. It's just that thing you can't out-train poor nutrition. So
100%. 100%.
All right, brother. We're going to jump into what we're calling our rapid fire round. Goal of this is just kind of get quick responses from you, have a little fun with it, and see where it goes. So first one, what's the best music to train to for you?
I think metal.
Metal. Yeah, I like that. Bench press or back? Was that Disturbed?
Disturbed. Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Yeah. We had that going in the gym this morning. Bench press or back squat?
Bench press. I mean, come on now.
Yes, sir. What's the best sports movie of all time?
Oh, man, that is a good question. Best sports movie of all time? Probably Remember the Titans.
Okay, Remember the Titans. For me, I go The Program. Most people haven't seen that, but that is a classic football movie. All right. Would you rather have a kid show up being able to do 20 perfect pull-ups or 20 reps at 225 on the bench press?
Oh, 20 perfect pull-ups all day.
Yeah, I figured that'd be the answer. All right. Now, this one's a little out of left field, not necessarily in the strength conditioning realm, but it's been something that's been jumping around our gym this last couple of weeks. Is let's say all 50 states went to war with each other. What state wins?
Pennsylvania, baby. Come on.
Pennsylvania. I haven't heard that one yet. You guys have?
No, actually, Texas would probably kick our ass.
Yeah, Texas has been the consensus. I think Alaska's got a chance just based on proximity. They can hold out for a while, but Texas seems to be the no-brainer.
Yeah, I think Texas hands down wins.
I love it, man. All right, as we wrap this up, the last thing we want to ask everybody is to leave us with a quote that inspires you or a mantra that you live by when it comes to performance and coaching and life.
Yeah, so honestly, if it's one that I actually heard recently and I really like it, I don't want to mess it up. It's if your absence doesn't affect them, your presence never mattered.
Love that.
So I want to say that again. If your absence doesn't affect them, then your presence never mattered. And I think that speaks for itself. It's a very powerful quote, especially as coaches. We want to think what we do and the impact we have really helps these guys. But, if you miss one day and they're not asking, hey, where's coach at? Then it's like, are you really having the impact you think? So I try to live every day like that and just have an impact with these guys and girls I work with. And, it's humbling when you actually read that quote. So,
dude, that's deep. I haven't heard that one, but that's definitely going to be one that we write down. We try and talk to the coaches who work within our business about you've got to train the mind, body, and soul, right? You're not just training for performance. You've got to connect with the athlete. You got to lead with heart, and that's what leads to them noticing your absence. That's awesome, man.
Yeah, man,
that's awesome. Well, Coach, thank you so much for jumping on here, man. We really appreciate it. Excited to see what you guys do up there with CSU football. I'm sure there's a lot of energy up there, and I'm gonna have to get up there here at some point soon.
Oh yeah, if you're ever in the area, you want to stop by, get a coffee, and get a lift in or something. By all means, you're more than welcome.
Hey, I would love to, man. Thank you so much, sir.
Yep. Take care, brother.